Have you ever just sat quietly and wondered, why does everything feel so off lately? Why do the people I trusted feel distant? Why did that opportunity vanish when I needed it most? Why do even my heartfelt prayers feel like they're echoing into silence? It's easy to assume something's wrong with you, that maybe Allah is upset with you, that maybe you're being punished. But what if it's something else entirely? What if these shifts in your life are not rejections but gentle redirections from the one who knows you better than you know yourself? Sometimes we beg Allah for change, for growth, for peace, for a closer connection with Him, but deep inside we expect that change to arrive softly, with ease, with comfort. We don't expect it to come through heartbreak, silence and uncertainty, but that's often how Allah works. Not to hurt you, but to awaken something deeper inside you. Maybe you're not being pushed away from something good. Maybe you're being pulled towards something better. Maybe that silence you feel right now is space. Space for you to finally hear your own soul, to hear the quiet call of your Lord. You weren't created to carry more than you can bear. That discomfort in your chest, the confusion in your mind, it's all seen and it's all known. Nothing that happens to you is random. Not the losses, not the delays, not the changes. They are placed perfectly with wisdom and love, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. You see, we're so used to seeing blessings in things that look bright and successful. But what if the unanswered prayer was the mercy? What if the closed door was the protection? What if what you're calling a breakdown is really a breakthrough, just in disguise? You might be looking at your life and seeing pieces falling apart, but Allah is seeing the pieces being placed exactly where they belong. That job that didn't come through, that friend who left, that plan that failed, none of it slipped past His knowledge. None of it was a mistake. It may have felt like a loss to you, but in reality, it might have been the beginning of your healing. The truth is, when Allah loves someone, He intervenes. He doesn't let their soul attach to things that are harmful. He doesn't let them drift too far. Sometimes that intervention feels like a storm, but later you realize it saved you from drowning in the wrong ocean. So instead of asking why this is happening, try asking what you're being prepared for. Try asking what kind of strength is being built in your heart through this test. What lesson is being whispered through the confusion? What old version of you is being left behind so you can become the version Allah intended you to be? Let your heart speak to Him. Even if all you can say is, I don't understand right now, but I trust you. That simple trust, even if your voice trembles while saying it, is a sign of faith, a sign that you're still holding on. And that's enough. Maybe this is the season where Allah removes the noise so you can return to Him in peace. Maybe He's slowing down your plans to speed up your transformation. Maybe He's pulling you away from things you thought were right, so He can give you something far better than you imagined. You are not being ignored. You are not being left behind. You are not forgotten. You are being gently, lovingly moved toward the path you are always meant to walk. Whatever is happening right now is not the end. It is the rearrangement of your story. A story written by the one who sees your tears, understands your silence, and responds to your pain, even when you can't find the words. This confusion in your life, as heavy as it feels, might be the clearest sign that Allah is working on you, not to break you, but to rebuild you. Not to distance you, but to draw you close. You don't have to figure it all out today. You just have to trust that there is wisdom in the unknown. Because sometimes The greatest mercy is not what you're given, but what you're taken away from. And maybe this is the moment everything begins to make sense, not on paper, not in front of people, but deep inside your heart where faith lives, where hope breathes, and where Allah is always near. You wake up one day and realize you feel completely alone. Not physically, maybe you're still surrounded by people, but emotionally, spiritually, there's this emptiness. The people who used to be close to you feel distant. The conversations feel shallow. You check your phone and no one has messaged you. The ones you trusted have slowly faded, and you're left wondering, what changed? You didn't plan for this. You didn't choose to feel alone. And yet, here you are, sitting with silence, sitting with yourself. You look back and think, I used to have people. I used to belong somewhere. Now I just feel invisible. And it hurts, but there's something else happening underneath that pain. Something subtle, something sacred. Sometimes Allah removes the noise from your life because He wants to speak directly to your heart, not through other people, not through distractions, just you and Him, alone. You see, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was chosen in solitude. He wasn't surrounded by crowds when he received revelation. He was in a cave, alone, reflecting, searching. And that silence wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. Maybe that's what's happening to you right now. Maybe this loneliness you're feeling isn't because you're unlovable. Maybe it's because Allah is protecting your heart from things that would have taken you further away from Him. Maybe He's clearing space inside you, making room for clarity, for strength, for Him. There are some journeys you're meant to take without a crowd. Some lessons your heart can only learn when the world around you quiets down. It's in those moments of isolation that the soul finally has space to breathe. And it's hard. Yes, you want someone to call you. You want someone to notice that you've been quieter lately. But what if the one who created you has already noticed? What if He's the one pulling you away from people so He can pull you closer to Himself? When everything external goes quiet, that's when your internal world speaks loudest. That's when your thoughts surface, your wounds rise, your prayers become raw. That's when you finally say, Ya Allah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, but I need You. And that's when the healing begins. You're not meant to fill your loneliness with noise. You're meant to feel it, to sit with it, to invite Allah into it. Because there is a version of you that only exists on the other side of this silence. A wiser you, a softer you, a version of you that has learned how to stand alone. Not because you stopped needing people, but because you learned who your soul truly depends on. Let yourself walk through this quiet season. Let yourself cry if you need to. Let yourself fall into sajda with no words. Just you and your breath, you and your tears, you and your Lord. And remember, the people who are meant for you will not be lost. The hearts that are written for your journey will return at the right time. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to beg for connection. What Allah has written will find you. But first, He might want you to find yourself in Him. If you're feeling isolated, try spending just 5 minutes a day, sitting quietly and saying nothing but, Allah, I'm here. And I know you're here too. No fancy du'as, no expectations, just presence, just openness. Some of the most powerful transformations begin in moments like that. Don't fear this space you're in. It's sacred. It's not emptiness. It's a divine invitation. An invitation to pause, to turn inward, and to let your relationship with Allah become the most intimate connection in your life. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not forgotten. You are being chosen. And this quiet time may be the exact ground where your greatest spiritual awakening will begin. Stay with it. Stay patient. Let your soul soften in the solitude, because even in this silence you are being heard, and even in this loneliness you are deeply, deeply loved. You had plans, you had a vision, maybe you were finally moving forward, your career, your goals, your healing, things were starting to feel stable. You thought, this is it, I'm on the right track, and then everything slowed down. Emails stopped coming, doors that were open started to close. The energy you once had, it faded. You don't know what happened, but something shifted. Now your days feel slower, your dreams seem paused. You're trying, but it's like life hit a red light, and you weren't prepared to stop. And what hurts most is not knowing why. Why now? Why after everything I did to get here? But slowdowns are not the same as setbacks. Sometimes the pause is not a punishment, it's a sign, not of failure but of preparation. Allah knows the unseen. He knows what you're being protected from. That opportunity you were chasing may have looked perfect, but what if it would have pulled you further from your peace? What if it wasn't ready for you, or you weren't ready for it? When your plans slow down, it's easy to panic. But what if this pause is your space to grow, to strengthen what's weak in you, to heal wounds you've ignored? What if this is the space where Allah is realigning your path with something better than you imagined? Sometimes you don't see the blessing in the delay until later, until the thing you thought you needed no longer matters. There's a kind of wisdom in divine timing that we don't always understand until we've walked through it. We often measure progress by speed. We think, if I'm not moving forward, I must be doing something wrong. But what if stillness is where transformation happens? What if you're not being held back, but held gently in place so your soul can finally catch up? When Allah slows your life down, He's also slowing down the noise, the distractions, the expectations. He's giving you time to breathe, to think, to reconnect. He's giving you time to turn inward. Because sometimes you move so fast, chasing the world, that you lose sight of who you're becoming. This waiting period you're in, it's not empty, it's full of unseen mercy. Maybe Allah is saving you from a mistake. Maybe He's clearing space in your heart for a bigger purpose. Maybe He's allowing you time to become the kind of person who's ready to carry what you've been asking for. There's nothing wrong with you because life feels slower now. There's nothing wrong with stepping back. There's nothing wrong with being in a season where the outside world doesn't see your growth, but your heart knows you're changing. If you feel stuck, try this. Instead of asking when things will move forward, ask who you're becoming during this stillness. Start journaling your thoughts. Write to Allah like a friend. Let your du'as be raw and honest. Let your heart be seen. There's healing in putting your thoughts into words. And sometimes your written whispers carry more power than spoken ones. Even if you don't feel productive right now, even if the world isn't applauding you, understand this: your soul is being nurtured in ways you can't yet see. And when Allah decides it's time, everything will move again, faster than you expect, more beautifully than you imagined. But for now, trust the pause, trust the quiet, trust the moment you're in. You're not falling behind, you're being prepared. And when it's your time, not even mountains will stand in your way. There comes a time when someone you love starts slipping away. It begins quietly. They stop calling. They stop checking in. Their presence fades slowly, and then all at once. One day they were part of your everyday life. The next, it's like they were never there at all. You sit with the loss and ask yourself 100 questions. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Could I have done something differently? The pain of losing someone, whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone you once called home cuts deeper than words can explain, because it's not just their absence, it's the memories, the conversations, the comfort. It's the way they once made you feel safe. It's how they became a part of your identity. And now, it feels like something in you is missing too. But sometimes, when people leave your life, it's not always because of you. It's not always a reflection of your worth. Sometimes, it's a reflection of your growth. Sometimes, the version of you that Allah is shaping can't carry certain relationships forward. Losing people hurts. But what hurts more is keeping what no longer belongs in your life. Allah sees the conversations you didn't hear, the intentions you never knew, the harm that was hidden behind closeness. He sees what your heart cannot, and in His mercy He removes. Not because He wants to break you, but because He wants to protect you. Some people are part of your story, but not your destination. And letting go doesn't mean you didn't love sincerely. It just means Allah knew what your heart couldn't accept yet, that your next chapter needed a different circle, a safer space, a cleaner soul. When people leave, it feels like a piece of your heart leaves with them. But over time you begin to realize that Allah was making space in your life for something better. He was emptying your hands so you could receive something far more lasting: peace, growth, a connection with Him that didn't depend on anyone else. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself cry if you need to. Don't suppress the sadness, but also try to remember that sometimes heartbreak is a form of cleansing, a way for your soul to start again, a way for you to turn inward and say, Ya Allah, replace what I've lost with something that brings me closer to you. Make that your dua. Make that your healing. It's not about replacing people with people. It's about shifting your dependence. It's about learning that your stability, your identity, your value doesn't come from who stays or who leaves. It comes from the one who never changes. If you're hurting right now because someone left, try doing one small thing for your soul. Maybe it's sitting alone with the Quran for 10 quiet minutes. Maybe it's writing out your dua with tears. Maybe it's just whispering, guide me, heal me, help me understand. There is so much comfort waiting for you on the other side of this detachment. Because when Allah takes something away, it's never to leave you empty. It's to fill you with what truly matters. You are still whole. You are still worthy. You are still deeply loved by the one whose love never fades, never fails, and never forgets. The ones who walked away were not written to stay, but the one who remains, He will never leave you. And that is more than enough. There are moments in life when you stop recognizing yourself. You look in the mirror and wonder who you've become. The things that once brought you joy now feel distant. The people who used to inspire you don't anymore. You find yourself questioning everything, your choices, your worth, your direction, and the question that quietly echoes in your heart is, what's the point? It's not that you don't want to keep going. It's just that somewhere along the way, you lost the version of you that felt alive. And now all that's left is a tired soul searching for meaning. That feeling, that inner emptiness isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that your soul is ready to grow. When you start questioning your purpose, when you feel disconnected from who you once were, it's not because you've failed. It's because you're about to be reshaped. What you're feeling is a spiritual awakening, even if it doesn't look or feel beautiful right now. It's a soft call from Allah, reminding you that your value was never tied to achievements, titles, or how put together your life appears. Your worth was written the moment you were created, and nothing in this world has the power to change that. Sometimes Allah allows a sense of loss within yourself, so you finally turn inward, not to sink into self-doubt, but to seek Him more deeply. To realize that your purpose isn't something you build alone, it's something that unfolds as you draw nearer to your Creator. You were never meant to define yourself through the standards of this world. Your soul was made for something higher, something eternal. That heavy feeling inside, the one that tells you you're lost, it might actually be the moment Allah is bringing you back to your real self. The one He always saw. The one He's still guiding even when you feel distant from Him. If you're in that place right now where nothing feels clear, start by being honest in your dua. You don't need perfect words. Just say, Allah, I don't know who I am anymore, but I want to be who you created me to be. Say it from your heart, even if your voice trembles, even if you feel unsure. That alone is a powerful beginning. And remember, even the prophets had moments of deep questioning. Even they faced rejection, fear, and loneliness. But what made them beloved wasn't that they never struggled. It was that they always turned back to Allah. Your confusion does not disqualify you from Allah's mercy. Your doubt does not distance you from His plan. In fact, these moments are part of the journey. They are the ground from which stronger faith can grow. Try taking one small step each day. Reflect for 5 minutes on what matters most. Read even a single verse of the Quran, not for information, but for connection. Write your thoughts. Cry if you need to. Let your heart empty everything it's been carrying in silence. There is beauty in not having all the answers. Because when you finally surrender the need to control it all, that's when you start to feel carried. That's when the weight begins to lift, not because everything is fixed, but because you've stopped trying to fix it alone. You are still becoming, you are still evolving, and Allah in His mercy is guiding you through every silent battle, every confused prayer, every quiet breakdown. You haven't lost yourself. You're just being realigned with who you truly are, without the masks, the pressure, the noise. And who you truly are is someone deeply known, deeply seen, and deeply loved by the one who created you. There comes a time when your heart starts to feel heavy, not because something new happened, but because something inside you begins to wake up. A weight you used to ignore suddenly becomes too much to carry. The guilt that once felt distant now sits quietly in your chest. The things you used to do without thinking now leave a taste of regret. You feel uneasy after missing a prayer. You scroll past something online and feel a quiet ache in your heart. You remember the words you said in anger, and they echo long after the conversation ends. And in those moments you wonder, what's happening to me? That heaviness you feel, it's not a sign that you're lost. It's a sign that your heart is alive. When your sins start to feel uncomfortable, when your soul begins to feel restless, that's not a curse, that's mercy. It means Allah hasn't let your heart go numb. It means He still wants you close. One of the greatest gifts in this life is the ability to feel guilt, because guilt is the doorway to change. It's not there to shame you, it's there to guide you back. You're not alone in this. Every believer goes through this struggle. We fall, we slip, we forget, but what matters most is that we come back. And that moment when you sit alone and whisper, I want to be better, is more beloved to Allah than you can imagine. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be sincere. Even if all you have is regret and a quiet apology, that's enough. Allah doesn't ask you to carry the weight of your past. He asks you to turn honestly, humbly, even brokenly. He welcomes the soul that returns. And sometimes the pain of your mistakes is what opens the door to your greatest nearness to Him. You see, if everything felt fine, you wouldn't stop. You wouldn't question. You wouldn't cry out for help. But when your heart begins to feel the burden, that's when you begin to rise. Don't hide from that feeling. Sit with it. Let it move you. Let it break your pride, not your spirit. Let it bring you to sujood with nothing to say but, I'm sorry and I miss you. There is no sin greater than His mercy. There is no past stronger than His forgiveness. You may feel like you've gone too far, but the moment you want to return, the door is already open. If you're struggling right now with shame, try whispering this, Allah, I can't erase what I've done, but I know you can. Say it with your heart, say it with your tears, say it again and again if you need to. And then take a small step, pray that one prayer you've been skipping. Read that one verse, make that one choice to walk away from something you know is hurting your soul. Small steps with sincere intention bring massive mercy. The heaviness in your heart is not a punishment, it's a reminder. A gentle tug from your Creator saying, come back to me, I still love you. And He does, no matter how long it's been, no matter how deep the wound. His mercy has no limit. His door never closes. You are not ruined. You are being awakened. And even this regret, this ache in your chest is a sign that you are still connected. You are not too far gone. You are just one whisper away. Sometimes without warning, something changes in your heart. You wake up one day and suddenly feel like praying. Or maybe you hear a verse from the Quran and it moves something deep inside you. Maybe you find tears falling during a dua you didn't plan to make. And for a moment you stop and wonder, where did this feeling come from? You weren't always like this. Maybe you've spent months or even years feeling distant. Maybe you stopped caring. Maybe you lived life on autopilot, doing what you wanted, saying what you felt, keeping your faith quiet and tucked away. But now something has shifted. This sudden desire to come closer to Allah, it's not random. It's not just you turning over a new leaf. It's something far deeper than that. It's mercy. When Allah wants good for a person, He pulls them gently. He softens the heart. He makes the soul restless for something more. And that restlessness you feel right now, that pull to change, to pray, to reconnect, that's a divine invitation. You're being called back. And what's most beautiful is that this call doesn't come because you earned it. It comes because Allah still wants you, still chooses you, still sees something in you that is worthy of His nearness. Sometimes we wait until we feel ready. We tell ourselves we'll start praying when we're more focused. We'll give up that sin when we're stronger. We'll fix our hearts when life calms down. But the truth is, the moment you feel drawn to Allah, that is the time, that is the sign, that is the chance. It's not about being ready, it's about being honest. If your heart is whispering, I miss Him, then listen to it. That's not weakness, that's guidance. Even if you're still struggling, even if you still sin, even if your past is filled with things you're not proud of, you're still being pulled. And that pull is a mercy greater than anything this world can offer. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it. Let it grow. Let it lead you to the prayer mat. Let it lead you to an honest dua. Let it lead you back to the version of yourself you forgot, the one that knew who to return to when everything felt heavy. You don't have to change overnight. You don't have to fix everything today. You just have to say yes to the invitation. Even if all you do is make one small effort, one prayer, one page of Quran, one quiet conversation with your Lord. Because every return begins with a single step. And once you take that step, Allah meets you with more mercy than you can imagine, more love than you've ever felt, more acceptance than you ever thought you deserved. So if you're feeling that spiritual tug, answer it. That's not just emotion. That's your soul recognizing where it belongs. You've been called. You are being chosen. Not because you're perfect, but because Allah still sees beauty in your return. And no matter how far you've gone, He's always been near. Maybe after hearing all of this, you're still wondering, why me? Why is my life the one that feels like it's being turned upside down? Why do I have to lose people, face silence, carry delays, feel guilt, or battle confusion just to feel close to Allah? But the truth is, you're not being punished, you're being guided. Every shift, every heartbreak, every moment of uncertainty was not random. It was placed there with divine wisdom, because Allah loves you too much to let you stay where you were. He saw your pain, He heard your whispers, and He responded not always with what you wanted, but always with what your soul needed. This life was never meant to feel easy all the time. It was meant to draw you back to the one who created your heart in the first place. And sometimes the only way He can bring you back is by shaking the parts of your life that were never meant to be permanent. You haven't been forgotten. You haven't been left behind. What you've been going through has been shaping you, humbling you, and softening you for something greater. Allah is shifting your path, not to confuse you, but to realign you. So let your heart find peace in this moment. Everything you faced has meaning. Every tear you cried was seen. Every silent prayer was heard. And every step you take back toward Him, no matter how small, is loved beyond measure. You don't need to know what's next. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep walking. And trust that the one who's guiding you knows exactly where you're meant to be. This is not the end. This is your return. And your return is beautiful.